All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Vinland Saga, Season 2, Episode 3. We have been firmly established to the new farm situation, and there's so many characters.
So many characters. Only a couple of them have names that have been focused on right now, giving us a very clear, multi-aspected look at the master of the farm.
Yep.
Someone who very much has a tough relationship with his son.
Right.
Who also has a very personal sense of ownership over the farm and thus works the land himself. Does not only require his retainers and slaves to do so,
Yep.
which is interesting. There's a lot to like about him right now. There's definitely some things about him that are, a little bit clever.
He's still the owner.
Devious, he's cunning. He's cunning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He still owns slaves. But Thorfinn, we're seeing a lot of nuance to him already, the ways in which he's changed, and not necessarily all in a good way.
He swung back the other direction, and and maybe he needs to swing back a little bit
towards the middle
again.
Yeah. There's a couple things about him that feel like we could poke and prod into it and maybe find out why he's not just necessarily passive in a way that could be seen as good, but also submissive in a way that's like, that's very anti-Thorfinn who you were at the end of season 1. But given that he was, restrained and beaten a bit and lost Askeladd, we're starting to peel back the layers of the onion that is Thorfinn's character.
And yet he doesn't even seem like the secondary main character here. Like Olmar, the son of the master, feels like more of a main character right now than Thorfinn in a lot of ways. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
Yeah, and I've been corrected that they're not in Vinland right now. That is something that makes plenty of sense. There would not be as much active, stuff with Vinland. The idea of seeing Leif there made me think about that for a little bit, but just, FYI, y'all, there is, at this point in time, a colony in Newfoundland that should be active and going, but they're not in Vinland. So,
cool.
Just thank you. But I would like to see Olmar kind of be a little bit of a wrecking ball in this situation and causing a little bit of chaos, because Einar is a very, very interesting duder protagonist of sorts now.
He's a very straightforward person. So like in a lot of ways, his struggle is less with what he's going to be about and more about how he'll reconcile that with his environment. Right. Whereas with Olmar, it's the who are you? So
yeah. Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh shit!
What?
Okay. Oh, a fighting ring. Yeah. Oh, good choreography. Oh shit! Oh no!
Oh, I think they're probably dead.
I mean, they landed in the water, so.
Yeah.
Olmar, yeah.
You need to talk to Hanakawa.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Shit.
Yeah, humor him. Yeah. Keep the peace. But they just humiliated him.
Yep.
Oh, this is pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you expect? No.
Yeah.
Let him cook. Yeah.
Right. Now, he might not remember this. But
hey, you never know. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh!
Huh.
Oh, that one. Oh!
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no. No. Oh, I love it, but no.
I,
You know what's great about
is
this?
this a power play?
Well, no, it's a blackmail setup. Because then if he knows that he killed somebody, he can hold that over his head and leverage him against his dad.
Oh, well, sure. I was...
Yeah. Yeah. The slaves, yeah. Specifically
Oh,
Thorfinn
shit.
or Einar. Because
Yeah.
he doesn't like them.
Uh-huh. Yep. Oh, you guys are already to harvesting. Cool.
I think they're gonna slowly do that kind of passage of time thing like that, where it's just like probably dialogue like that, just to be like, hey. Oh, he's having just a panic attack. Yeah. Oh.
Well, fuck.
Waking nightmare. Okay, it hasn't been that long. This is probably a recurring thing. And if this is his first time seeing this.
Yeah.
His body and mind's already selectively removed whatever the memory was, so it doesn't.
Yeah. That, or it's whatever his, like, emotional turmoil is, it just haunts him in different ways that have nothing necessarily to do with his past.
I mean, something that visceral, it's got to be some kind of shame. Like, shame is one of the most deep-rooted, like...
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Thorfinn just casually walks past there.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Oh, that's... oh, emotional damage!
Yeah.
My heart!
Yep.
Arnheid.
Okay.
So, are they speaking English, or...
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, who are you? Yeah. Are you a daughter?
I'm Master's daughter.
Yeah. But she being out here is probably something that,
Yeah.
I don't know, they would like. Oh, not the Master's daughter. Oh.
Ah.
Oh, attendant. That's why.
So even worse potentially if anything happens with her.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We're gonna do a little betting.
Yeah.
Which of you fights better? I honestly think it would be cool if they end up showing their skills so much that these guys are like, yo, like, you should join our, like, our mercenary group, you know?
I mean, maybe, but
Bro.
and oh god, this is
That's all there is to it. Wow.
Now, the son is not technically the owner.
Well, he is with the family, though. Oh. Oh, so he can't actually do this. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Peer pressure.
Like, take the sword away, and I think there could be something pretty good that happens here. Like, they both
maybe
get a bit of their frustration out.
Oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, Thorfinn!
Damn.
I'm already dead inside. What's...
Yeah. I've got nothing.
Who's this?
Yeah.
I like this guy's scruffy look. Okay, he's reading, though.
Right, that's very uncommon for...
Yeah. Oh, and he's got a good-looking sword.
Kind of house.
I love these two already.
Yep. Yep. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yeah.
But if you genuinely don't...
Well, this is echoing something that Askeladd brought up in some ways.
But if you don't fear it, then...
In the same way that Thor's didn't fear death either, you know? Holy shit. He didn't flinch.
Nope. Huh.
Wow. Oh, fuck.
How is this gonna resolve? Oh, okay. He's gonna interrupt it. Okay.
Oh, cool,
all right.
cool,
Awesome.
cool.
I like it.
Wait, is this their leader or something? Because if he's
Maybe?
educated, like...
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, maybe he's not gonna stop it after all.
He's just like, damn. Oh, Thorfinn talks. Okay, okay. Okay. Everyone shuts up. Oh! Oh. Whoa, whoa. He's scared.
Yeah.
Whoa, he's fearing for his life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, boss. Shit! Oh, yeah.
All
Tell me
right.
what's going on here? All right.
Well.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh, boy.
Shit, okay.
All right,
We learned some
Thorfinn.
good stuff here. We have Thorfinn in a bit of a situation that he barely got out of because, well, he's lucky, but also
Someone
in some
else
ways,
got him out of it.
The journey that brought him here led to him responding in such a way that Snake was like, you know, I'm going to step in here.
And I want to just draw the comparison real quick
Yeah.
to the, you've got a band of mercenaries, you've got a leader that is, at the very least, has a bit more perspective, like the fact that he reads and stuff. It's like, okay, he's got a decent head on his shoulders, right? He's not just some brute. And then, oh, hey, they see a bunch of dudes all going at one guy who's not fighting back and just sort of sitting there, right? And it's like,
thinking that
wait
as
a
well.
minute,
I was thinking that as well.
Maybe there's something special about this guy. Now, has Thorfinn reached the nirvana that Thor's did? No, absolutely not.
He's in some ways only showing the hint of it because of the pain that he's gone through.
Exactly.
Which in some ways, Thor's didn't even have that.
No, he had a pretty easy life by comparison.
Right. He definitely did, fight in wars and stuff like that and kill tons of people, which probably haunts him in his own way.
Yep.
But because he was very much like... he's very much like Thorkel in that regard.
Yeah, exactly.
He probably didn't think
He
about
excelled in
them
that
at
area.
all, and all the pain that he inflicted as being like his own like kind of burden or anything like that, until he changed as a person.
Right, until he was a dad, and then it's like, oh shit, now I'm actually scared, right?
Right.
Which is funny because then it's,
Yeah.
oh yeah, what do we peddle? We peddle death, right? And there's no value to death if you don't fear it. So,
Right.
you're a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the philosophical discussion that was had with a sword and an unmoving slave. It's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's wonderful. So, all that to set up basically the next episode. Very, very, very exciting stuff. Arnheid, the personal attendant to the master.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that explains why she was in the wagon.
Uh-huh.
It was very much a like she was a person of import, but we just assumed potentially the daughter. But
Right.
that's
But
probably
no-
just because they were both blonde. But even then, oh, okay.
Yeah, all right, that's the dynamic we have there.
Yeah, it's the dynamic, yeah.
But that is something where then there is a connection. There is a second connection point to the master,
Other than Olmar.
Other than Olmar. Well, yes, not within the story, but from the standpoint of Thorfinn and Einar.
Einar.
Right? Because
yeah.
yes, they're slaves, so they can like be like, oh, master, they can go to him if they have some question or something, probably. But now we have this whole situation where an employee of the master then decides I'm gonna cut up one of the master's slaves.
Yeah. Funny little side thing with there before we move on from her.
Yeah.
Did you notice that her name basically looks like a mix-up of Einar? It just
I did notice the kind of
Arnheid,
similarities. Yeah, yeah,
Einar.
yeah.
You could basically like flip it around and it's almost like just saying Einar backwards.
Yeah,
Or it's like inverted.
They're destined for each other.
There's,
we know
there's,
it. It's,
there's,
you know,
there's
it's-
something there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're destined for each other yet. I think we're in Vinland Saga right now where things are not.
I mean, hey,
fate has nothing to do in this story.
I didn't say they were destined for each other for very long.
Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, Olmar was being used in a way by these warriors.
Right.
I don't even want to call them warriors because I feel like we're already starting to use this new setting to
They're
break
thugs.
down again. Yeah, exactly. Break down again what is a warrior. Because according to this guy, a warrior peddles death.
That's fair.
That is a way to think about it, yes. But in some ways, then what's the point of having you around when there's no death that needs to be
Right.
peddled? I
Yeah.
think he's missing a little bit of the no, you can be called upon to peddle death.
Right, which is why I thought he was going to say fear, even though he did end up going into the death has value because people fear it, right? And so in the bodyguard situation, it's the we are the fear of death, right? That then is, lets the master, have a bit more comfort and make sure that anyone else that might potentially
You're
do
a
something
deterrent.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a deterrent, right?
Yeah, there's a very good argument to have a deterrent around because sometimes wolves get into the pen, and you
Right.
can't just yell at the wolves or put
you
up
can't.
bigger fences. You have to go and kill the wolves.
Exactly.
That is sometimes
That's-
something that has to happen.
That's the philosophy where Thor's is, kind of situation fell short, right?
Well,
granted,
right.
he had Thorfinn, so there was that whole thing, but
Right. The thing that I think that was still working though with Thor's is that the reason why his philosophy almost worked was because he was so fucking strong.
exactly.
It was because he actually was winning, and he would have won if not for Thorfinn not being there. Which
Right.
means, in some ways, the thing that this episode might be honing in on a little bit is that Thorfinn might actually exceed Thor's eventually by the nature of him carrying this immense burden, this mental anguish, this nightmare inside of him that is something that if he's able to overcome that, not by shoving it down deep where he'll never remember what that is or anything
Sure.
like that, but facing it and embracing it and becoming in some ways not unafraid, but like one who does not need to peddle death basically in order to be powerful.
He has a perspective that Thor's did not have, and in some ways could not have, because of the different lives that they led.
Right.
And that's where you can get something where, in spite of all of the awful shit that has happened to Thorfinn, no, Thorfinn, it's not that there was never a good thing that has happened to you. It's that there was a hell of a lot of bad shit that happened to you. And it makes it real easy to forget about the good.
Yes.
Right? Because,
really hard.
because I mean, come on, it's a bit of a skewed scale, right?
Oh, it's so skewed.
But that doesn't mean that there's nothing.
But
right?
the idea that season 1 in some ways is about all the fathers that kind of did their all the men basically in his life that raised him in their own specific little ways. You have the Askeladd, parenting, which very much was a cold and cruel sometimes, but also very
practical.
very practical, and in some ways like kind of sad, just kind of like you idiot. Then you have Leif, who's just there being like, please come back to the place of safety. Come back. You have choice. You have free will.
Yep.
Okay, no, he ignores that. Then you have almost in some ways Thorkel, who's just like come on, live in the moment, enjoy life.
Yep.
You're gonna mope and do all that.
Nah, be rowdy.
Shit. Be rowdy.
Yeah.
Live it.
Yep.
You have Thors, of course, that you have so many people that even though you were going through all that shit, Thorfinn, you're carrying. Like you're carrying the wrong things. Like it's something I don't think he has too much agency in at the moment.
No,
because his life is simplified to the point where he's only able to keep waking up in the morning.
Right.
And that's about it.
It's all in your head, Mr. Tweedy. So Thorfinn right now is in this situation where he has no agency, but he could if he wanted to. Now the thing is,
he's a slave.
No, totally. Yeah. But the fact that he doesn't, it's something where at the end of the day, that's something that like he has the choice of how he responds to his environment. It is no fault of his that he responds in this way, because that is very understandable to happen, right? He is not as strong as his father. Well, not right now.
Well, also, it's not really his environment that he's responding to. He's responding to his internals. It's something that, in some ways, he actually can't escape right now.
Well, okay,
he needs to get introspective.
No, totally. When I say environment, I don't mean like the farm, that he's on
right
now.
It's
the all the things that have happened in his environment that very much do have an effect.
Right,
on
and
him.
I'm doing this to hone in on kind of what you're focusing on right here, is that he has no choice with regards to being a slave. That
right,
side of his environment, he has actually no agency with that.
To Thor's dying, Askeladd dying, stuff like that. That was all stuff that happened to him.
Yeah, exactly. The point of even the ED is showing that he has no freedom right now. He has none. He can only do this. He can, in some ways, protest the fear of dying by saying, yeah, just fucking kill me. Just do it.
Sure.
That's about it. But what you are saying, which I really like, is that with regards to his internals, that's where he can actually face that. But his own body, his own mind has sequestered that away from him. He can't even address it because it only bubbles up during his waking, moments of his, dreams, coming up from his subconscious and his conscious mind and make him think he's actually living that nightmare of whatever's going on inside.
And that's why, because the whole thing that I said of the, it's in your head, Mr. Tweedy, right? That's a bit of an exaggeration to highlight a point.
To highlight, exactly.
The fact that that this is all within Thorfinn's own, his self and emotional state and all of that stuff and perspective on things. Yes, does that give him agency in a certain regard? That does not mean that it is in any way a simple task, right? And that is why it is a story worth telling. Right. Because if it was a simple task, exactly, then there would be no point in having a main character like Thorfinn where he's going through this right now. Yep. Because otherwise it's just like, well, why doesn't he just decide to be better? Right? just don't do that, forehead, right? No, that's not
Thorfinn,
how it works.
You have combat training. Why are you not kicking this guy's ass right now?
Right. Right,
my
exactly.
God,
Yeah, yeah.
You should be able to do the thing because at the point in the past you were able to do the
Right.
thing.
You-
So why
you-
don't you just do it again?
You dealt with one father dying, so why does it bother you if another one dies, right?
my
You should
God.
be able to handle it just
Oh
fine.
my God.
You're trained at this, right?
Like it's so triggering to me how quickly people will fall into that kind of line of thinking with stuff that's because they think, well, this is extreme, so that line of thinking makes sense.
Sure.
But for like slightly less extreme things, there's a point where they start to deny that. They're like, well, at this point, no, just stop, And it's
Because it's inconvenient, right?
It's inconvenient, but it's also a thing of where I think in a lot of ways the idea of introspection, the idea of not just looking at the sources of torment that are a part of your past that you carry with you, but also in a lot of ways the mistakes that you yourself have made as a person that led to the consequences, the natural consequences of your suffering.
Yeah.
Those are two very different things, and yet introspection on the terms of like not just trauma, but the idea of carrying something that limits your freedom, that is actually something that I think aggravates a lot of people, that they feel like, well, I can understand the area of, yes, shit happened to me. My life has been nothing but horrible stuff.
Yep.
Yes, Thorfinn, you've had a lot of shit dealt with you. You've had a lot of stuff. But Thorfinn, there were a lot of things that Askeladd brought up. You were dumbass in season 1, and I'm not talking like just the why didn't you kill me, all those many times. I'm talking like little decisions along the way.
Right.
Leif came up to you at multiple times, and
And I'm sure that's something where Thorfinn, that is also something that torments him.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because in the case of Thor's, my father was taken from me, right? That's the situation. Yes, it's also kind of your fault because you snuck onto the ship, and if you hadn't, maybe it wouldn't have happened.
But again,
you were 5. You had no idea, right? You had no way of knowing that that would end up happening, right?
Life dealt you a very unfortunate hand in that
Exactly.
it happened to be Floki and the Jomsvikings showing up that one time to then set up the pirates and
any other day that would have been just fine. You would have been dropped off with Leif and he would have taken you back, and it just would have been a hiccup, right?
So you can't ever look back at that stuff and wonder if it was different or blame the sequences of events on you. That's
right.
That's that kind of stuff.
But the tough part is that the older you get, the easier it is to be like, no, but I should have known better, right? And the thing is that's still doing yourself a disservice because you're not acknowledging what an idiot you were, right? Like in the fact that that's okay, right? You know, Thorfinn, how could he have known better, right? With all the stuff that happened to him, maybe he could have, but he didn't, right? And so now in this situation, right, you are lost, right? You don't know what to do. All that you see is, not a single good thing has happened in my life. All of it has been terrible, right? Hey, that's understandable. But I could see that definitely being something that would be uncomfortable or annoying or frustrating for people watching this because, one, that's something that we all do, I would say, to a lesser extent than Thorfinn, and maybe not as much as Thorfinn or in different contexts and stuff, but that is something that we do, and I don't think any of us really like that about ourselves.
Nope.
2, when we go to stories, maybe we're not necessarily looking for something to be, something to cause us to be introspective and stuff. Maybe it's the, no. I want to see this kid that gets vengeance and has the 2 daggers and he's a badass even though he's smaller than everybody, right? Like that, hey, that's totally fine. But
that's not where this story
that's
is
not
going.
where this story's going.
And I am here for it.
Yeah.
I am so much of a fan of the idea that Thorfinn's going to go on this big character arc and change again.
Yep.
Because what we did kind of in some ways was we rebooted the show.
Yep.
Gave him a time skip and we're setting up the new Thorfinn, but these 2 Thorfinns exist. He probably looks at past Thorfinn internally as like this demon that like he's scared of, but also ashamed of.
Well,
and thus he's so passive and submissive to the point where he's like, just kill me so I can be rid of my demons, right?
Right.
But the thing is that Einar was brought into the story. Einar has, in some ways, the key to his whole problem by being someone that wishes he had taken action in the specific time and context when he did make a mistake by not listening to a parental figure.
Yep.
And yet, because it was so recent, it's still an active source of anguish for him in that it brings itself up in every little thing, which means that Thorfinn in some ways gets to time travel back and help teach himself a little bit of that wisdom. But if he's in the wrong place when Einar opens up to him about that, it won't necessarily land well. So the idea that if Thorfinn grows, he'll then be able to help Einar, who will then be able to help him, and they'll create this lovely spinning spiral of just...
And let's be real here. The fact that this is happening already shows a lot of progress for Thorfinn. Here's why. So you might think that this is something where it's the, no, Thorfinn, this is his lowest point. No, his lowest point is when he was here and he didn't know that he was here. This is at least something where he is acknowledging it to himself and speaking it out loud so that way he can hear it and be like, how do I think and feel about that, right?
Right.
And so far he's pretty dedicated to it, so when the guy cuts him, he doesn't move. But by saying that, it wasn't just something where he was saying that as an acknowledgement to himself. It was because he saw someone else who he said, that person has value, even if I can't value myself, and so I will help that person.
Right.
I do have agency, I will at least do this, right?
There is definitely a place that is lower that he will probably have to go in order to save himself. You know, he'll have to, in some ways, kind of...
Go into the abyss and all that stuff.
He'll have to go into his own abyss, basically, and figure out, basically... what he's been keeping from himself, you know? Like the idea that there's I love that the story decided to be kind of almost too mechanical with it, with the, like, I don't even remember what I was...
Yeah, exactly.
But it's something that I need to remember. Like,
he's in the abyss, but he's not facing it.
Right. He's turning away from it. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where he needs to listen to, in some ways, his own demon for a little bit to be able to address it by name and be like, you.
Yeah.
You're not me, but... I acknowledge that yes, you were who I needed to be to survive then.
Right. And I'll bet that there's even a side of Thorfinn that here wishes he could go back to the simplicity of those times, because while he also probably berates himself of I was such an idiot, all that stuff, at the very least, life was simple. He had something that he wanted, you know, something that kept him moving.
I think he's so beaten down and tired.
He doesn't even have the desire to wish that he was.
Yeah, I think that was him reaching here. Like when he was sent here, that was the beginning. He left that stage like
a while
ago,
and it fermented and turned into the situation that we're in now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love though that Thorfinn is very properly being set up in this very similar way to have a, to draw the visual comparison of what was going on with Thor's back then, to set him up on the path to not becoming Thor's, but to surpassing Thor's.
Yes.
To learn what it is to be a true warrior, a true man, and someone who could also then save others.
Right.
And Einar being around in the story just gives so much promise to that. The ED showing the two of them older and kind of like holding each other and being like leaning on each other. That makes me want to cry, because it's the kind of shit where you're like, like this is the brotherhood, the found family thing that takes the pain and the struggle and the torment and the suffering and the trauma and all that and forges it into a bond, like something that's not a chain but like a link, you know, it gets me so fired up.
Thorfinn, if this is what you can do when you're literally standing there and doing nothing, now maybe actively doing nothing, imagine what it would be like if you actually you know.
It's so incredible, because the story very clearly is not going to end at this farm situation here. We've got all kinds of like bigger things going on.
Many
in the world.
Much more time skip stuff and everything that we will definitely see. But
right. But the idea of like, oh, we're still in phase 2 of his origin story.
Right. Exactly. We just finished the prologue, so the story has literally just started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet Snake.
Yes.
Get to know him a little bit more. He is educated. That is interesting.
Yep.
So seeing like what kind of interplay there will be, given that he's someone in a position of power in this farm setup
Yeah.
here.
And I
And
could
that
see it.
puts him as another person of power that will be able to be theoretically opposed to the master by
Well-
their status, but not ever in opposition.
Right. If they're in the master's employ, I could see this being something where he's actually the character that brings it to light, because it's my apologies, sir. One of my men did this to your slave, right? You know, because again, this was not the master's son, right? This was just Fox.
Yeah, and also they probably coerced your son out here, got him drunk.
Yep.
Now, he might not go into that much detail.
No, right. But it's something where this guy, Snake, has a vested interest in resolving this situation because it is within his own unit. Assuming that it's not something where it's just two of his dudes that were hired separately by the master, you know?
I'm very worried about petty revenge coming from Fox or Badger because of what Snake does. But
I feel like that can't get any worse than it is now.
Yeah, I feel like they are going to be, for the most part, okay. I could see Olmar, unironically, though, going to Thorfinn and being like,
Holy
what are
shit.
you? Yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
and then
Teach me your ways, maybe not the ways of, like, I don't know what, being a slave or whatever, but like, you were fearless. I want some of that.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Be sure to check out my Persona 5 Royal Let's Play on Twitch right now. But yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.